April Rochelle of Bashar Communications, and I'm so happy to welcome you all and thank you all for joining us. And I also want to welcome everyone that's joining us from all around the world that's with us on Ustream. So it's very exciting to have everybody here for this weekend of contact. How many people have never experienced Bashar live before? Okay, so these must be the people who weren't here last night, right? And everyone that was here last night got to experience him for the first time. Huh? Did you enjoy that? Yeah? He's pretty smart, you know? So tonight's session is entitled Mistaken Identity. And basically what this is about making mistakes and what you define as a mistake and what Bashar defines as a mistake. And also how to stop, repeating choices that are not really in alignment with what you prefer. Because many of us have probably experienced that where you just keep choosing the same thing over and over again, even though you say you want to choose something else. So hopefully he'll have some nice information about that to help us with that. And tomorrow's session is entitled The Big Picture, and this is all about things from the Oversoul perspective. And the idea that you have many, many aspects to your Oversoul, all of which are probably available to connect with in the now as a type of past life, right? Bashar is going to be explaining to us more about the different aspects of the Oversoul, how the Oversoul relates to these different aspects, and how to integrate this into your life and really allow yourself to expand and move beyond the status quo and really, realize your potential as a human being this lifetime. So I think it'll be a very exciting weekend, and we're going to get started in just a second. We have a couple of videos that we're going to show you. And the first one is all about the contact crystal. And are all of you familiar with the idea of the contact crystal or what that is? A lot of you are. Okay, well, for those of you who aren't, it's a type of crystal that is on Bashar's planet that Kirby Seed was able to find a source for us to replicate that crystal. And so I'll just let the video explain to you how that all works, okay? And see if it's something that's exciting to you.
I just picked up one of your interesting little seed crystals for contact.
Yes.
I was curious if you could talk about that for a few moments.
Again, the idea is that as a child on my world, I was shown the idea of a central hexagonal crystal that existed within a giant, large artistic exhibit created by another contact specialist. The central crystal in that particular work is about, in terms of your size, about 3 feet across. The idea is that it is about the same color green, and around it are other crystals, each crystal added to the central crystal, which represents the first contact of our civilization with another, represents all the other contacts of all the other civilizations we have come into contact with.
Very cool.
And constantly grows as more and more civilizations join the interstellar alliance, as you call it. But the idea is that that central crystal is the seed crystal that carries the vibration of contact itself and is representative of my family lineage along with other family lineages that are also steeped into the idea of being contact specialists.
Nice.
So not only does the idea specifically of that crystal carry the vibration, generally speaking, that is conducive to contact with other civilizations, that particular vibration is also very specifically connected to our world and my family.
Very nice.
So, that is our way of welcoming you all to the family. As far as permission slips go, obviously, as was explained, this is specifically tapping into the idea, the archetypal collective consciousness idea that there is a particular frequency or vibration that represents the blending or connection between your civilization and other civilizations. That is one of the frequencies that is put into the charge, in a sense, that is represented by that particular idea, object, permission slip. Now, it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to always use that idea, that object, because again, permission slips are what works for you. At the same time, and in conjunction with what we were saying earlier in this transmission as to how there is really no separation between intention and action, between the physicalization, the physical act being that demonstrates and in a sense actually creates simultaneously the intention. The physical act of having a symbol of that nature, a permission slip of that nature, is similar to the idea of physically casting your vote for contact. So the more votes are cast in whatever way that occurs, in whatever form the permission slip feels right for you, the more we can tally those votes, because not just of the intention of wanting contact, but the actual physical act of physicalizing it in some sort of physical way, a physical symbol that is representative of a physical action you have taken that is actually the casting of a vote. And that vote resonates very strongly in your collective consciousness to us. So it really truly changes the vibration of your collective reality. So that is what we wish to add about that idea.
So we do have some contact crystals tonight if you're interested in that and if that's exciting to you. And they're up here on the crystal table. The next video is all about the Dolphin workshops. And a couple of years ago, Bashar created a series of guided meditations that are designed to take you on a very special transformative journey. And that journey occurs in Hawaii. The next one is in October. And it's all about swimming with the wild dolphins in Kona, Hawaii, and doing these guided meditations and getting into sort of a reality bubble that's like an Essassani reality bubble. Because everybody that's attending is interested in Bashar and the information and really excited to create that kind of third reality together with the dolphins. So we're going to show you a little bit of what a dolphin workshop, cetacean transformation, is like.
Side with you next to me, oh, when the time is right, you'll glide right back to me. I wanna slide through the ocean blue, right beside you, 2 by 2, oh, when the timing's right, you'll slide right back to me. Oh, won't you be my guide as we're slipping through the sea? I wanna dive so deeply through the crystal waters slide right back to me. I'm not expecting you to understand. You're never gonna find me back on land. Oh, and the timing's right, you'll slide right back to me. All those moments together I do treasure. It doesn't really get any better. I wish I could have stayed with you for the rest of my day.
Effortlessly and joyfully slipping through the sea. Streamlined like a dolphin, streamlined like a whale. Weaving, diving, bobbing, smoothly gliding, effortlessly through life, slipping through the sea.
I wanna glide through the open sea, side by side with you next to me. Oh, and the timing's right, you'll glide right back to me. I wanna slide through the ocean blue, right beside you, 2 by 2. Oh, and the timing's right, you'll slide right back to me. Oh, you be my guide as we're slipping through the sea. All those moments together I do treasure. It doesn't really get any better. I wish I could have stayed with you for the rest of my day.
In unity, in harmony, in joy and in love, you drift into the depths of the deep blue sea.
Oh, and the timing's right, you'll slide right back to me. As we're slipping through the sea.
So it truly is a wonderful experience, and if you feel the call to come and become a mermaid or a merman and integrate your consciousness with the dolphins, which is actually a type of precursor and preparation for ET contact. So we invite you to join us if this is exciting to you. Okay. So again, thank you all so much for coming, and it's now my great pleasure to introduce to you the very talented and brilliant Daryl Anka, channel for Bashar. So is there anything you'd like to say before you go into the altered state of consciousness?
Goodbye. What else do I need to
I want to say something about the documentary.
Well, we're doing a Bashar documentary, as many of you know. We're getting close to the end. It'll probably be finished by the end of August. At that point, we'll be putting it into film festivals, so we're not exactly sure when it will be available to the public, but it is almost done, and we think it's something that you'll enjoy. There's a lot of stuff in it, and so it'll be very interesting for people to, for the first time, through the use of, computer-generated effects, to actually see what Bashar looks like, what his world looks like, his spaceships, and so forth. So there's some of that in there, as well as a lot of his principles and the story of how this all happened for me. So we hope you will find it interesting, but it's almost there. Allow yourself to feel the freedom in not having to know, in not having to be exactly who everyone said you should be, to let go of preconceptions, to let go of judgments, to always know you are free like a chameleon to change your colors, to be at one with all and all with one, and to express yourself however is true for you at any given moment, to be the magician and the magic in your life, to transform yourself in any way, shape, and form that seems to be, at that moment, perfect
for you. And so it is, and so it was, and so it ever shall be. That not knowing gives you the ability to know more. So be free to ask at any moment of confusion, at any moment that seems to be a dead end, at any moment when you feel that you might be lost, remind yourself that it's all right, that you do not know who you are. And in not knowing shall you rediscover exactly at that moment who you need to be. Also knowing that is not all you will ever be. Even in that moment, there is more. There is more. There is more to you to know. And it will reveal itself to you as necessary. Pick up the pieces along the journey, along the path. Gather them in your basket. Recollect, reassemble, and remember yourselves. And even when you feel you are wholly reassembled, you will know there is always more to know. For in that moment you do not know who you are. And you may channel yourself anew and discover a new you that you can get to know. And as you develop more knowledge, more relation with who you are channeling yourself to be, even in that knowledge you will not know and are always free to know something else that is truly representative of your greater being. And express it in life with all the power and all the beauty that you possibly can. And all the love that you are made from. For one thing above all, you do know you are love itself, the very fabric of existence, the very frequency, resonance, and vibration of all that is. Allow yourself to breathe deeply and let it out. And breathe deeply and let it out. And breathe deeply and hold it and hold it and hold it. And then blow out your need to know. And by blowing out your need to know, you know that you will know what you need to know when you need to know it. And until that moment, you do not know who you are until you know. And when you know, you still know that you do not know who you are. And when you do not know who you are, you will know in that moment who you are. And in knowing who you are, you will know in that moment that you do not know who you are. And you will create a perpetual cycle of knowing and unknowing, and knowing and unknowing, and knowing and unknowing, that shall allow you to become the crucible in which you can melt down the idea of yourself, transform and reform it effortlessly, fluidly, perfectly. And you will flow into the unknown, in which you will discover more of you to know. Allow the mistakes to work for you by understanding that even as you define it as a mistake, that there is always a take two. And
take 3, and a take 4, and a take infinity. An infinite time to know yourself, and even throughout infinity, you will never ultimately know all of who you are. For you are free and limitless and boundless. And even in your moments of finite experience, there are an infinite number of them. So even when you feel yourself to be finite, that is but a drop in an infinite sea of finite moments. And even as you get to know every single one of those finite moments, there is always another infinite sea of finite moments. On and on and on and on. For you are forever, and always have been and always shall be. For you are the now, and the here, and the one, and the all. Allow yourself to begin to settle in. Allow your music to soften. Allow your lights to dim. Allow yourself to drift and dream. Allow yourself to know that you do not know, and allow yourself to be all right that you do not know. For that is the key to the open door to freedom, of redefining yourself as you prefer. You are every moment fluid, every moment changing, every moment shifting, every moment born anew. You are channeled entities all, and you are constantly shifting to a new perspective, to a new you. Allow yourselves to be quiet and to just drift